and welcome to the Priggya Arora Show, where we discuss law, innovation, and entrepreneurship with people who have been there and done that. My name is Priggya Arora, founder of PA Legal, and today we have a veteran in the field of IP management, Dr. Alexander. Welcome, Dr. Alexander, on the show.
Hi, Priggya. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for taking out time. I know we were in the conversations for a long time, and then I am sitting here with you. I feel privileged that I am able to speak to you on this platform. So thank you so much, Dr. Alex.
Sorry for being busy.
So, Dr. Alex, we'll start with your life story and how did you get into the field of IP management?
Yeah, that's a good question because it's a strange field, isn't it? And to a certain extent, it did not exist when I started to work in it. So I'm basically a theoretical physicist. I studied in Munich, Manchester, and it like typical. It is relatively late when I came to IP, but in my case, I started at the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft in Munich. It's the European biggest institution for applied research. Maybe somebody knows what MP3 is. So Fraunhofer is the institution where MP3 was invented. And I worked in the IP department, so to speak. And there I get an understanding of IP transfer and valuation. And I started in that, so it is early 2000 years, so late 90s, early 2000s. So nobody discussed IP management or even not valuation, at least not in Europe. So we had a discussion in the United States because the US have more this asset approach, which is still not common in Europe. And so I started to make a deep dive in valuation and made research on that and developed different methodologies, became an expert witness at court, and became the opportunity to start a standard committee on valuation in Germany, in European projects. And then I became the opportunity to found a Steinbeis Institute at the Steinbeis University in Berlin, and I did that. For IP management already, and we started to ask questions. So what exactly could be, might be, should be IP management? Why is it relevant? Why does it make sense to take care for different size of companies as startups, SMEs, corporates? Is it something different in Europe, the US, in Asia, and so on? And then I published a lot on that, and we made also research on that. And then I became the appointment to CEPI, Center of International Research on Intellectual Property Studies, and I became the opportunity to develop and to start a completely new master program. This is 18 years ago. And it is the MEPLM, which is still very successful. I think we can say it's the most successful master program for IP management on that globe. We start in January again. We have 25 students again, and that is really the cornerstone of what we are doing. And but now we have a diploma on a distance learning, completely distance learning diploma on IP management. We have certificates. We have that master program, we have a graduate school, and we summarized all of that in the so-called IP Business Academy, or CEPI IP Business Academy, where we offer these trainings, synchronous, asynchronous, distance worldwide. We make 15,000 hours of lecturing every year with thousands of students everywhere. And we have still our program in Strasbourg, and we run the blog, we run case studies everywhere on the planet. And what we're doing mainly now is we support IP experts and other stakeholders in IP awareness building. And for example, with I3PM, the International Institute for IP Management, and I invite everybody who is interested in IP management to join us there. And also we deliver lots of materials free of charge to improve knowledge about IP management. So that was the way which yeah, I'm on that way still.
I'm so glad, Dr. Alex, because of you, so many people are able to learn about this field, because this field is not generally, which is practiced everywhere. I think in developing nations, it is still a developing field. US, as we know, is still ahead in the field of IP. People are aware, and they have a lot of litigation and patent support which is required there. But I think in other countries it's still building up, and people are getting to know about this field, working in this field. Now people want to incorporate such strategies everywhere else as well. So as you just mentioned, that it is such a diverse field that nobody knows what exactly is a part of IP management. How do you give clarity to the people that, okay, these are the aspects of IP management, probably these are the aspects of strategy and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, it's really a global effect now,
Yeah,
due to maybe we come to that later, but the digital transformation is doing a lot here, and people become more and more aware that the management of risks and management of changes is something different than wrapping patents around inventions
correct.
or filing trademarks. I mean, you can do that, but obviously not management. So, and we do that from the IP Business Academy. We do that globally. We work with Chile, with the Philippines. I had this month a cooperation with Tunis, with the university in Carthago. They integrate IP management in innovation engineering in a master program, for example. So I would not say that there is a big difference where you're looking for it. So we cooperate with Singapore, with the Indian Patent Office, wherever. And so there's a big need on a deeper understanding of this management aspect of IP. And so I don't want to say a part of the legal aspect, because it's an integrated. So you have to understand. So there's a good reason why I'm a professor at a law faculty. Okay, even when I'm not, I have not that kind of education. So, but we have lots of legal knowledge in the course, in the program, which has to be integrated in IP management. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. But it is management, which means we have to ask different questions, and we use different methodologies when just law. Which maybe we should first of all separate administration from management. So administration is about deadlines, files, to comply with legal procedures. That is administration. And this is very important, but it is not management.
Okay.
So management means making business, basically. So it's a question of ownership of a company. And when you separate the shareholders from the ones who run the business, so then the management has to run the business. So they have to make the business, which means it's a class of people, yeah, and they have to organize the work of other people. So that are managers. Mm-hmm. And when we apply that to IP, we have to ask the question, what means managing IP? And obvious, it means how can we support IP and integrate IP in the business, which means not administration. And yes, it starts with strategy. It starts with the question, what is the contribution of IP in my business? It is about valuation. Okay, valuation is a kind of checking whether my strategy works right. Yeah, it's a test. It's about decision making. How can we make smart decisions, and who is doing that, based on which information? Yeah, that's a tricky thing in organizations. It's about the integration of IP in innovation management. So how do we make our innovation? And innovation means not invention. Innovation means being successful with something new in the market. And again, what is the role of IP in it? It's about organization, outsourcing, insourcing, centralization, decentralization, standard conformation, organization of quality management. It's about leadership. Yeah, it's about people. So it's not, IP management is not an expert work. Expert work means you are alone, you are the expert, and you work on your papers. Leadership means you have to motivate others. You work in teams. You have structural organization. Yeah, you have agile organizations. How to integrate IP in agile environments? That's a very tricky question. And it's about business development, it's open innovation, technology transfer, licensing, all that kind of stuff. So it's a big topic. It's a lot of aspects, and there's a lot to know how to do it wisely and meaningful, and not just using buzzwords.
Correct. Wow. Dr. Alex, through this conversation, I just remembered yesterday I was reading something on accounts, and in that document it mentioned the value of IP, or the value of trademark, or the value of goodwill is the value of the company when it is acquired minus the value of the physical asset. So I was like, oh my God, this cannot happen. We need to value the intangible assets, add it to the physical assets, and then give us the valuation, get the valuation of company. But it is strange that, different aspects of the business are not working in integration with each other.
Yeah, it is. We don't have the time to go in detail here, but it's always tricky when lawyers start, or attorneys start to talk about values and valuation, because typically they have no training on it, no education. So value is future economic benefit. And when it comes to company value and the contribution of IP, we have to be very careful how to do that. And even the terminology, okay, what is IP, what are IPRs, and what are intangibles? Yeah, and how is that defined, and how can we separate it? So yeah, a lot of knowledge is necessary to make reasonable contributions to that kind of discussion. And that is the reason why we offer so much training and give all that materials free of charge, and cooperating with the with the EPO to improve the understanding of it, because it is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. And Dr. Alex, one thing is, probably when we come to small businesses, they always have this issue. Okay, we have a limited amount of resources. We want to spend it on operations. We want to spend it on performance or optimization. We want to spend it on an employee training. Then why do we have a need? Because IP generally is generally considered as a resource which takes a lot of money, time, and effort to implement. So, to small businesses, what is your opinion, or how would you tell them the advantages and benefits of having an IP management uh, in place?
So first of all, I don't know your definition of small companies. Okay, so it depends really on which country you're talking about. So SMEs is a very broad concept. Okay, first of all. So we have here in Germany, we have family-owned companies which have 1 or 2 billion revenue, and they call themselves an SME. Okay, so just to mention, okay, so it's a style for them to do so. So first of all, I don't think that an IP manager at all is needed. And this is misleading, okay? So IP management is one thing. IP manager, something completely different. I don't think that it makes any sense under typical circumstances to appoint somebody an IP manager and to say, this is Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith, and Mrs. Smith is our IP manager, and she is doing the IP management. I mean, what should that be? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
absolutely.
IP management is a distributed ability of a company. It's something different, completely different. And so compare it with quality management. Let us assume we have this Mrs. Smith, and she is the quality manager. What is the role? Is she doing quality in the company? All the others do whatever they want, but she makes the quality. I mean, so here we see that concept of having an IP manager who is doing IP management is not really helpful.
Absolutely.
So Obviously, every company needs some abilities in IP management. So you cannot avoid that you have to pay taxes, for example, and you cannot need a certain ability in IP management, especially that you don't need a lawyer for that. You don't need an attorney. And it is not necessary that you have an IP management, or this is even not helpful. What I'm saying is they need a kind of IP management, which starts with an understanding, what is our IP strategy? You cannot have no IP. You have always one, even when you ignore it. So then ignorance is your strategy. Okay. So so you can also, for a certain time, you can ignore taxes, but sooner or later, they will get you and they will ask you what you're doing. And this is exactly the same with IP. Yeah, ignore it for a time. Maybe it is rational ignorance, but sooner or later that will affect you. Okay, based on your company name, based on using certain software, whatever. So as soon as you switch on your computer, you are deep in IP issues. Okay, and I mean, having a basic knowledge about that and having a clear strategy in terms of this is what we take care and this not is a good thing. Yeah, being clear, making up your mind what you want and how much IP should be at the end in your business model. Yeah, and the more digital the things become, the more important is that. Yeah, that you understand what you're doing there. And so even people are not aware that open source software can be patented. Yeah, I hear things like, we don't deal with IP because we do open source. I mean, what does that mean? This sentence is crap. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. And this is not a strategy. This is confusedness.
Yeah. So, Dr. Alex, you know what I got from this conversation is probably people should spend a little time in getting to know what real IP is, and to begin with, to get to know what kind of IP their business has. Then only they'll start with next step like protecting or valuating or taking care of IP and then integrating it with the business strategy, because at the end of the day we are protecting IP to generate business. Our intention is not that IP should be protected as a separate conversation from generating business. I think it should always work in hand, like IP management is a part of business management only.
To a certain extent, yeah,
Yeah,
you don't have to answer any additional question
correct.
about IP. Explain me exactly what is your business, and then it is clear which role IP plays in your business. That's the point. So when people really think their business plan through, and when they really understand what they want to do, what the business model will be exactly, so then it is also absolutely clear which role IP has to play in it. So it is not an additional question. It's like tax. It is not an additional question. Tell me exactly what you're doing, and I will tell you which role tax will play in your business model. That's that simple, okay? And yeah, you can start with inventory. I would always start with the business model. Explain me, how do you want to be successful? And then it is relatively clear and quite obvious what we have to do in terms of IP and what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. But people who are fuzzy on the business, they have no chance to clarify the IP situation.
Correct.
Okay, third-party IP, my own IP. And that is the tricky thing. Be clear on exactly what you want to do, and then you can get help. It is transparent. It is, you have any support on that planet, even from institutions. But this making up your mind about the business is the most important thing.
Wow, beautifully explained. Like if you have clarity on what your business is going to do, you'll have clarity on IP aspect. If you do not have clarity on the business aspect in itself, then probably IP would be here and there, and you will not know what IP you have in your business.
Yeah, Priggya, and then when you're not clear, then happens this bypassing. Okay.
Correct.
Yes, we start with inventory. Why? I mean, yes, you can do that. You can make portfolio management, valuation, I don't know, whatever. But again and again, everything starts with the business. And I mean, again, it's management. So when you can do a lot of things, but they are meaningless when it is not clear what the role of IP is in the business. So valuation, organization, quality, I don't know what. This is all good or bad, I don't know. Basically, it has to make sense within the context of the business.
Correct. Dr. Alex, I'm laughing because I think I can draw the analogy. If you're not clear about the finances, then you end up making adjustments while paying taxes because you yourself don't know where you have spent the money. And in initial years of business, people are like that. They're like, okay, we'll figure out the finances later on. First, let us make some money and then take care of the taxes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say everything starts, with plans and and PowerPoints. And I mean, a startup SMEs, younger SMEs, they have to modeling through. Okay, that is normal. That is how business is not constructing. Business is gardening. You have to take care and to observe and to make tests and different strategies to take this, take that, and that's okay. I mean, that's absolutely okay. Yeah. And but you should see yourself on a journey to become more and more clear, when that becomes transparent what you really would like to do, then also your IP strategy becomes clearer. And then but it is not this, should I file a patent or not? I mean, nobody can answer that. Which kind of trademark I will, that are all of these discussions have the starting point in the business. That is my key message. And I personally, I know many attorneys who stay away from that. I mean, to a certain extent, for good reasons. I mean, when I would be an attorney, I would say, okay, that's not my business. You have to be clear on your business, and then I can help you with the legal questions. So IP management is the bridge between that. Yeah. So yes, sooner or later, at the end, we have a lot of legal questions, and we need very good experts on that. And we are very thankful when they are helpful, obviously. But this gap between the business and the legal questions, this is IP management, and that has to be bridged.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is giving a lot of clarity to everyone. Okay, we have legal professionals on one side, then we have organizations and businesses on the one side. But so that both of them can work in synergy, we need IP management. We need a transparent conversation. We need how the lawyers would be able to help you in businesses to grow further, not the other way around.
Exactly, and that is to a certain extent. This is this master program which I'm running, which helps. So you have to be in the IP business. It's on a law faculty, so you get a law degree, a master. But basically, it's about management. So it should give IP people the ability to talk about business, to help with the integration of IP in business, to do this bridging. And I mean, that is exactly the whole logic. Yeah. So it is not so we need this ability. Again, it's an ability, not a job description. And that is extremely helpful for people, for companies, for organizations which don't have these resources in place. Yeah. So that is exactly what we're doing.
Absolutely wonderful, Dr. Alex. Dr. Alex, I think I personally would like to know about, we have standards for probably everything, like, or for the things we do not have standards, we make standards and we make systems so that it becomes easier. For to give you an example, if we want to file a patent, we'll ask the inventor like what is the key novelty, what is the key invention, what are the key features. Based on that, we'll do a patentability search, and based on that, we'll do a patent drafting. So it's a process, standard process, which if followed will give benefit to the businesses because it's done in a clear manner. So for IP management also, to maintain the quality, do we have certain standards that we can follow? And if yes, then can you explain a little bit more? Because I think businesses will get a lot of knowledge regarding what processes they can follow for IP management.
Yeah, I mean, you always said it, already said it. It is exactly the point, that it is a kind of best practice, yeah, which is summarized in these standards. But I mean, the question is, what is the benefit? Why should we have it? Yeah. So, is there any additional thing in it? And yes, because business is made of trust.
Yeah.
Okay. When we cannot trust each other, we have pretty much difficulties to make business. Or you can say the higher the level of trust in an economy, the more efficient is the economy. And this is, from an economic standpoint, is that one of the most important objectives: make the things efficient.
Yeah.
So is IP management efficient today? Most of the time not. But it's even worse, okay? Because business typically means that you have not only one player, you need at least two. And in market economies, we have many, many players which have to work with each other in the most efficient way, okay? So that is a powerful, a productive economy. And what is now the role of a standard? I mean, one thing is the organization in a company, and we have different stakeholders there also. We have marketing, product. So what is the role of product management in IP management? It's a very important role, okay? And we have to take care about that. What is the role of marketing? Also important, yeah? So it's not about the IP department. It's about the organization of the firm. So, and then the next step is, yeah, so this firm has other stakeholders. So they have customers, they have suppliers, they have investors. So let us assume you are a company, a machine manufacturer, and you buy a piece of software, a security system, whatever, okay? And you integrate that piece of software in your machine, and then you deliver it to a big multinational. So, and this big multinational, it's a big one, and they make a lot of revenues when they run this machine. So, and now it turns out that this piece of software is infringing.
Yeah.
So what will happen? So what happens is that the patent owner will go to the most vulnerable part of this value chain, and that's the big multinational. And they run a multi-million production with that machine. And then this multinational will go to the next company, which is the machine manufacturer, and they say, no, we buy that software from this SME there. They made it, this security system. It's not from us. So, and then everybody in this value chain will try to look in the contract. What is written there? Yeah. And there is written typically, you deliver it to me free of third-party rights. Aha. So, and who is taking care for that? And how can we ensure that the smallest company, which here had the problem, is really able to ensure that to the machine manufacturer? And the machine manufacturer has processes in place to supervise that, to anyhow be able to have a certain controlling of it, that the suppliers make their jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the problem. It's one of the problems. Yeah, or make it even worse that it is a standard essential patent, and we have connectivity, and we have these cases now at courts that who is infringing in value chain according to connected car issues and so on. Multi-million, some billion infringements are out there in that kind of constellation. So what we need is something on which we can trust. Correct. Which means the SME should have an audit about their ability to take care about IP risks, okay? And that should be given to the machine manufacturer. Machine manufacturer should show their ability to take care for all of their suppliers, and that they don't infringe any, or they don't integrate any infringement when they manufacture the machine which is given to the multinational. And the multinational should also be able to take care for their suppliers that it works. Okay, so, and you can make this example with financing, with investors, so it has to be clear that everybody in this this game, in this business, has the ability to take care for IP. And this is what a standard is doing. It is a way to define the things work well. And you know what? A PhD candidate, Nora Rüther, made a wonderful study. We published that on our blog about the maturity level, of the use of the DIN standard, the German quality standard, which is a little bit more brutal, detailed than the ISO one. And she asked, how good is that implemented in different companies in Germany? And what turned out? Okay, it turned out that they are very good in everything which is described there, and I call it the IP machinery, especially patent machine. So these companies are very good in producing patents. Wonderful. Okay, when there is an invention, we produce patents. Okay, I mean, that's an ability. But it turned also out they have difficulties in two things, two aspects. First, the strategy, and second, the reporting. I mean, what does that mean? That means we produce patents, but we don't have the link to the business because there is no real strategy. I mean, the strategy is when there is an R&D result, and when this R&D result fulfills the requirements becoming a patent, we will file. Yeah, according to our budget. I don't know, but budgets and requirements for getting a patent is not a strategy. Yeah? So the strategy is missing, and then at the end you miss the report. Yeah, what should I report? I fulfilled the budget. I did not spend more money than I was received. I mean, a budget, a report on a budget. I mean, it's good that they don't spend more money, but what does that mean? Yeah, does that mean when I have this next big thing invention, but my budget is over, I don't file it? Yeah, I don't understand that. So, which means, yes, a standard gives us a way of asking questions.
Correct.
Okay. Because when it is best practice, and this is the logic of a standard to a certain extent, to tell us what makes sense, at least the lowest level of what makes sense. You can always be better. So then we have this, for example, here, these two missing points, the strategy and the documentation or the reporting. And that gives us the opportunity to ask that kind of questions to the IP department, to the top management, and also to third parties. Okay. So let us assume this machine manufacturer asks the SME, can you tell me which IP strategy you follow? Okay, in the meeting, and they don't have anything. I mean, we file patents. Is that an IP? No, it's not. This is an administrative ability, nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so that's the role of a standard.
Absolutely, Dr. Alex. You know, when you were speaking about reporting, it's The Indian Patent Office recently came with an amendment saying that every year we need to file working statements of our patent to just show that whether the patents are working or not. And if yes, then how much money probably a company is making or how that company is
Yeah,
using the patent.
yeah, I got you.
So I'm in a conversation with lot of foreign firms who have filed the patents in India and a lot of Indian firms as well. And a common question which I get from everywhere is, we don't know whether what's happening with our patent. We have filed a patent, that's it. But then how do we file this working statement? So even people at different various scales of businesses, they are confused. They absolutely do not know how their inventions are working even after getting a patent on it. So I think it's very, very important that people get education in this area and they start implementing it, because that would be for their benefit. At least they will know which inventions are helpful for them and which inventions are not helpful for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a matter of fact.
So things like this, I absolutely believe that the way you clarified standardization for everybody, if we have those standards in place in the companies or small businesses, big businesses, at any level, they will be important as a part of a business strategy in itself, and it will help the companies take better decisions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that simple, but not well received so far.
Yeah, I understand. So, Dr. Alex, now we'll come to your life and you. So, we'll do a quick rapid fire questions, which we call it as 3, 2, 1 rapid fire. So, what are three things in life that you're grateful for?
So first of all, my education. And that has a lot to do with family, at least here in Germany. So I'm very happy that I received that brilliant, wonderful education. Becoming a physicist is a great opportunity, and later on it did not stop. So I wrote books. I switched from physics to IP, then to management economics, and that I had always people who support me as teachers, or at least as people who accept that I'm learning. That is the first thing which I'm very, very thankful and grateful. And then this opportunity 20 years ago, when Professor Yves Bull came to me after a presentation in Paris, and he said, do you want to become a professor? And I thought, what? That was the second big change in my life. So of course I wanted that always, but IP management does not exist. So how can you get an appointment for a subject matter which does not exist? Yeah. So he was absolutely visionary and said, he's really a law professor. He said, I think IP, I don't know exactly what IP management is, but I think it is necessary. And you, Alex, you are so crazy, you should do it. That was the second big thing. And finally, now what happened is that we get now the opportunity to work with different national institutions, which also understand how important IP managers more and more. And even the EPO now announced that we cooperate and will have together certificates and awarded academic degrees. And that is really a big thing that now starting with this professorship now, we have the next big thing that institutions say we need that kind of ability in the companies, and we need that kind of experts or expert knowledge. That I'm very grateful for that.
Wow, absolutely amazing. Now, two traits that you think are useful for an innovator.
That's a good question. I admire innovators, absolutely. I think persistence is something which is really important, because you make mistakes. You need a tolerance for frustration. Yeah. So it is not like in the Hollywood movies, yeah, one pitch and you are famous and rich and everything. No, you won't. It's hard work, extremely hard work, and so persistence is the one big thing, and the other is what will help you to survive. It's the vision. So you need the ability to imagine a future with your innovation. And this is what let you stay up in the morning and work you, I don't know, 25 hours every day, that you make your vision happen, because this is the most important thing for you.
Wow, persistence and vision, absolutely important. And one aspiration you have for the future?
Only one. I think I want to improve the understanding and application of IP management worldwide. That's what I want to do, as long as I have enough lifetime for it.
Amazing. And we are there with you. If you need any help, support from our end, just feel free to ask us out, and we'll be there to cheer you up and to just be there so that we can take this initiative together.
Thank you.
And Dr. Alex, any final thoughts for our audience before we conclude this podcast?
I think it is helpful when somebody has the feeling after listening to that, watching that it might make sense to look a little bit deeper what IP management means. Then I think it absolutely makes sense to go to I3PM, the International Institute for IP Management. Join the people there, follow the discussions, try to get material, try to improve their own knowledge about it, and there the people can ask questions and will get answers. And in addition, we as the IP Business Academy from SAP also absolutely willing to help, and I think that is really something which is, I think, important, that get more information, try to understand, because the people for whom you are working, they will be thankful for this kind of ability which you give them then after that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alex, for saying this. I wish a lot of people, businesses come and learn IP management and implement those aspects in their business and grow. The more success stories we hear, the more happiness we get. Okay, we are doing something better for the ecosystem because we are getting to know about the success stories. So, thank you so much, Dr. Alex, for your time and for being here.
Thank you, Priggya. Thank you very much for giving me the floor and for taking the effort to prepare and to do that with me. Thank you very much. And especially thank you for your social media activity. I really enjoy that. And I think the whole IP community should be thankful for that, what you're doing there. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alex. Hey there, thank you for attending today's session. If you enjoyed today's session, do follow our channel and consider sharing it with a friend. My name is Priggya Arora, founder of PL Legal, where we help creators and innovators protect their intellectual property. Thank you.